The legendary 1979 No Nukes Concerts is a 2021 release of the audio from a 1979 concert benefiting the organization Musicians United for Safe Energy. September 1979 was about halfway between the release of Darkness on the Edge of Town and The River, and as such this concert was right around the peak of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band's artistic careers. A couple of songs help predate their studio versions on The River, and are just as great as they were there. The live versions of previous Springsteen originals and some oddball covers are also present, making an enticing mix of material. My only gripe is that there are no songs from the debut album, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Some of the live versions on this I feel like I like more than the studio versions, and others I feel like are just as good as the originals. Springsteen's voice is also just as good here as it is on his studio tracks, unlike some live albums such as Elton John's Here and There, as good as that album may be. Overall, the energy on this album is very similar to the energy on The River, but with a better track listing in the concert set list. The boss and the E Street Band play like their lives depend on it, and pull it off spectacularly. Okay, now before we get on to the main part of the video, I want to say I've already reviewed all of Bruce Springsteen's studio albums up through The River. That includes, of course, Wild Innocent, E Street Shuffle, Born to Run, Darkness on the Edge of Town, and The River, all of which we will see songs from on this album. So if you want to hear my full thoughts on them and their lyrical content and the studio versions, be sure to check those out. I will have a link to the Bruce Springsteen album review playlist down below in the description of this video. And I also want to say, if you like this sort of content, classic rock, album reviews, anything like that, please be sure to like and subscribe and share this video with a friend. If you know anyone who's interested in Springsteen, it would do a great deal to help me out. Now, without further ado, let's go on to the song-by-song analysis. Prove It All Night is a great way to kick off the album. The E Street Band is in great shape here, and we get great solos from both the sax and the guitar. I honestly think I prefer this to the studio version, as it feels like it has what feels like an even stronger energy behind it than the studio track. In my review of Darkness on the Edge of Town, I referred to Badlands as the diet form of Born to Run. I may have been a bit too hasty there, though, as Badlands here manages to be the real standout of this album, even with Born to Run also being present on the track listing. Bruce's epic guitar solo going immediately into Clarence's sax solo is the single best moment on the entire album, and it is probably the best instrument playing we have ever seen from the boss himself. The Promised Land doesn't differ as much from the studio version compared to the previous tracks, but it manages to be a very high-energy rendition of what was already a great song. It is just perfect. This album's rendition of The River doesn't do anything different than the studio track, but even though it's not better, it manages to be just as good, something which makes it a great track here. In spite of the similarity of this performance, it actually predates the release of the studio track, and as such, most people in the audience will probably hearing it for the first time during this concert. The impact is dulled for me having heard the studio track before, but if you were there at the time, this must have seemed like a revelation from God. Witnessing Springsteen's best song, or one of his best songs at least, materializing out of the ether in real time. I mean, can you imagine? Sherry Darling has always been one of my favorite songs from The River, and this is a good rendition. Similar to the last song, this actually predates the release of the studio version, although it isn't as notable. Max Weinberg delivers a great drum part, really being the stand-up musician here other than Clarence. The tropical styling of the backing feels even more prominent than on the studio version, with maracas and such really setting the scene well. Thunder Road is still too short, albeit slightly longer than the original. Otherwise, this is a great version of this song. I like to think that the lead vocal is even better than the studio version, and the ending instrumental section has never sounded sweeter. I think this joins Prove It All Night and Badlands as tracks I like better than their studio counterparts. Jungle Land is still a bit long-winded in the middle, but that last verse still gives goosebumps every single time, just like the studio recording. Another fine performance, but like The River, it is one that does not do anything better, in my opinion, than the studio track did. I'm not a big fan of how Springsteen cuts out on the chorus of Rosalita Come Out Tonight, but otherwise it manages to be a show-stopping set piece, as usual. The E Street Band is great, and the hype way in which Springsteen shouts out all the members of the E Street Band is great fun. However, history shows us that there was one man, just one, who was on a power level between that of Clarence Clemens and Ted Kennedy, making Bruce's comments poorly aged, albeit still very funny. Born to One is another song that is not too different than the studio version, but the build-up to the last verse is a lot longer and more intense here. A great rendition, but I feel like the studio version still has this beat. Stay is a song that guest stars Jackson Browne, Tom Petty, and backing vocalist Rosemary Butler. Springsteen, Browne, and Petty is a Heartland Rock matchup made in heaven, but I do feel like Tom Petty is not prominent enough or featured as much on this track as he really should be. The E Street Band is great here, especially the piano work from Roy Bittan. Jackson Browne, Rosemary Butler, and Clarence Clemens all feel like they make the best use of their time with their vocals. However, the song is also very incredibly catchy and works very well along with Springsteen to make a great performance. Detroit Medley is delivered with a great verve, and Springsteen's mid-song spiel about insurance is hilarious as well. It's a pretty good mashup of classic songs, but it pales in comparison to the rest of the album. Quarter to Three is another great up-tempo number. While it has maybe too many false stops, Springsteen's insistence that he can't go on, only for him and the E Street Band to continue with just as much energy before, is amazing. Every song is a showcase song for the Master of the Universe, Clarence Clemens, and so is this song. This song serves as a great finale song for the album, a true epic rocking ending. Following it, we have Rave On, a nice upbeat song that acts well as a short encore song. There's not too much to say about it, but it works very well as an album ender, very good as a kind of last hurrah, great encore song for Bruce and the E Street Band. Okay, so for final song rankings, I just want to say before we begin, I am using a slightly different ranking system for the live versions of the song, where the ones I give the best review of the ones I feel like really went above and beyond as live versions, so it's a little bit different from my usual ranking system. But anyways, here we go. Prove It All Night, I give 10 out of 10. Badlands, I give 10 out of 10. The Promised Land, I give 9 out of 10. The River, I give 9 out of 10. Sherry Darling, I give 9 out of 10. Thunder Road, I give 10 out of 10. Jungle Land, I give 9 out of 10. Rosalita, I give 9 out of 10. Born to Run, I give 9 out of 10. Stay, I give 9 out of 10. Detroit Medley, I give 7 out of 10. Quarter to Three, I give 9 out of 10. And Wave On, I give 8 out of 10. And overall, I'm going to give this album a 9 out of 10. Maybe a 10 out of 10 if you want to say how well it works as a live album, because I think this works really, really well as a live album. This is honestly, I think, one of the best LP or LP sets that Springsteen has put out in terms of, you know, just like track after track after track. The way it works, it's got great track listing, and all of the live versions are at least up to snuff with the studio tracks. It's honestly too bad this didn't come out in like 1979 or whatever, around the time of River, because at that point this would be like a bona fide classic now. But as it is, it's kind of a legacy release. But it's a great one. I mean, it really is a great concert that they played there. You can really feel the energy and tension throughout. But yeah, well, I think this is a great live album. This is honestly one of the best live albums, you know. It really is up there, as I said, and the E Street Band, a great live act, and so it's nice having them in their prime, their absolute energy, and the sheer excitement of their performance. I want to look at the sleeve of the album. They really knocked out the park here, I think. Similar to Black Store before it, it's printed on sort of black cardstock, or cardboard, or paper, or whatever you want to say the sleeve is. This shiny stuff here that says Springsteen E Street Band, that's embossed. It's really nice. I really like that. Got this really nice concert photo up here on the front. You've got a really nice photo of Bruce on the back, although I do think his teeth look a little funny there. I think it may just be something about what angle it was taken, and you got a track listing, of course. But you've also got all kinds of other stuff in here. First of all, you got the liner. Each liner has this picture on one side, and then there's the other side. It has the track listing of sides 1 and 2. And this album actually does have its own labels. It says, I guess, something about side 1 and side 2 on them, but it doesn't actually list the track listing, unfortunately, although I guess it does look pretty nice without that. And so yeah, that's one of the vinyls, and the other vinyl, here it is, once again, the same image, Veil. And you also have different track listing. So that's pretty nice, but that's not it. Of course, this is in a gatefold sleeve. You've got this nice kind of wraparound sort of image of Bruce and Clarence. That's very nice. But wait, there's more, because of course there is. Photo booklet. Look at that. Look at that. This is falling over. It's great. It's great. You got all kinds of pictures, all kinds of stuff. Very nice. I love that. And whoops. There goes the sleeve, but once again, I love that. And of course, you think that's all, right? Just a photo booklet and both vinyls and gatefold? No, it's not all, because we also have this poster. I think this is just the album cover. I'm not going to fold that out because that wouldn't fit in the frame. That's it. I really love this style. I liked how it had the poster. I liked how it had the booklet. I like the kind of consult photograph for the film grain. And, of course, I like this. Clarence is always nice to see. And I like this image on the back. So, yeah, I really like this. End of video.